I really need a name for this series. It's not a series yet, I suppose. This is episode 1, but we're bringing the format that grew my TikTok, but to YouTube. We're gonna go through some viral-ish videos, give my thoughts the way that I would over there. Let's begin. This is an interesting one. First of all, we've got the infamous double bicep tear video. This has gone pretty viral, with like 20,000 likes, good lord. Here's the thing with this one, right, is for the last year or so, maybe even 2 years since the first time I ever saw this whole thing go viral, I've seen people afraid to use preacher curls because they don't want to tear the bicep. But here's the thing, 99% sure that the dude in the original video that went viral with that preacher curl, I'm pretty sure he was curling like 60 kilos on that barbell. It was a straight bar with 2 20-kilo plates either side, I'm pretty sure. That dude did not look particularly heavy, right? There are not, in fact, we don't even need to say that. The majority of people are not gonna curl on a preacher bench 60 kilos. It just doesn't really happen. We have examples of like the best in the world, like Terence Ruffin and people like him, where they'll use, I don't think I've seen them use much more than like a 30-pound dumbbell for this, never mind 60 kilos. Realistically, the smart answer here is you don't need to be afraid of a preacher curl. You just need to be afraid of lifting more weight than you were gonna be capable of moving with good form at all. Realistically, if you're gonna load up crazy amounts of weight on a given exercise that isn't gonna move, and then load it in a stretched position, you should be surprised if you don't get hurt. Come on now. Anyway, on to the next. In this one, we've got maxing out old school gym machines. Let's give it a watch. This looks like a really old school Nautilus machine. I could be wrong, and it is really, really old. It may even, no, I don't think it's chain driven. A lot of the older machines are chain driven. Yeah. Now, fun fact, the thing that made me stop and go, I can make a video about this, was these old Nautilus machines, or in fact, just Nautilus machines in general, I'm pretty sure that the reason they're called Nautilus is the shape of the cam. In that video, the dude zoomed in on the moving parts, right? The way a cable moves around a cam on a pin-loaded machine determines how that weight is going to feel when you move it. Nautilus machines are designed so that it gets lighter. Nautilus machines are specifically designed with that shape of a cam in mind, and it's the shape of a Nautilus shell, I do believe. Most cams that you'll see are very often just circles. This is their unique selling point, I suppose. Cool stuff. On to the next. In this one, we've got a video about weight loss and the speed. Let's give it a watch. Weight loss is a slow process, but quitting will not speed it up. It's absolutely true, right? Every year, people will give reasons why they're gonna begin, and then they'll have another excuse why they stop, whether it be a social occasion, a birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas. Point is that life is always going to throw hurdles at you. You're, as a regular person, hardly ever going to get an extended period of time where very little is going to get in the way of your diet if you're a normal person. For example, my life can revolve around fitness because it is my job, right? And anyone whose life does revolve around fitness is capable of making sure that fewer things get in the way. But if you're a regular person, like the vast majority of people are, trying to expect it to be smooth sailing and fast all the time is just not gonna work. And giving up anytime something does get in the way, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people will throw their toys out the pram, as it were, where there'll be a bad day and they'll be like, right, well, I might as well give up now. And that one bad day will now turn into a bad 6 months until the next time they get the urge to start again and give it another go. That is a guaranteed way of just becoming more unhappy year on year with how you look. It's just not the move. Realistically, the only way to guarantee that you are never where you want to be is to keep quitting. The time is going to continue passing no matter how you choose to spend it. So in a year, in 2 years' time, you can be further along in the journey that you have began a few times and quit, or you can be worse off. You're the only one that gets to make that decision. You're the only one with the power to do anything about it. It's up to you. On to the next. This one made me laugh because it reminded me of the good old days of TikTok. I remember I made a video that was very similar to stitching this one once, where I may have pretended to stick a fork in a plug socket because of the amount of times that I've seen this sort of thing said, and the video ended up getting like 1 million views, and then it got taken down because of the whole fork in a plug socket thing. But let's give it a watch, shall we? Okay, here goes. So, POV, your triceps blew up after implementing this exercise, underhand tricep extension. It's a valid option, but realistically, using that underhand grip is just kind of making things worse. There is just no need for the underhand grip. When it comes to triceps, the only thing that matters is elbow extendy. Yeah, you can see my tricep doing the thing there. It doesn't attach at your wrist, and therefore it really doesn't matter what your hand does, in which case you would just choose the most comfortable position for you that allows you to create the most force. And for pretty much no one is that going to be an underhand grip, because the weight's going to just come out of your hand when it gets heavy. If you were to do an overhand grip on a straight bar, look how much weight you can shift. Now switch with that same weight with your underhand grip. Notice how you won't be able to do as much. It's just inferior. Now, the reason why the dude may get a better connection or enjoy it more doing that underhand grip is because he's doing it single arm. He's doing it in a way that aligns quite well with his elbows, and therefore will potentially have less elbow trouble, which is a complaint a lot of people have when they do heavier dual arm movements like straight bar pushdowns and V-bar pushdowns and skull crushers and things like that. So realistically, you're getting the benefit of it going single arm and things like that while getting the drawback of it being underhand. In reality, if you want best case scenario here, you're probably looking at a neutral grip where you turn that D handle sideways and shove the blade of your hand deep into the crevices of your family, and just go from there. On to the next. If you guys haven't already, by the way, make sure you subscribe. The majority of you won't have been. If you've made it this far into the video, comment down below crevices. And the good old left shoulder on a chest day injury problem. Here's the thing, fellas. You don't need to be accepting pain. You really don't. The majority of you guys watching this are probably on the younger side. And something you need to get your head around is the fact that if you want to keep the results that you're getting from your training, it needs to be a train for life sort of thing. And if you're already just trying to brute force your way through shoulder injuries every time you do a chest day, which to be fair, the majority of you is at least once a week, most of you it'll be twice, it just doesn't bode well for the future. So rather than just accepting that shoulder pain like a lot of people do and just putting up with it because you enjoy whatever it is that you're doing, change something. Don't keep doing what clearly isn't working for you. Let's be real here for a second. The majority of people get this because of the barbell shoulder press, or the barbell bench press even. I don't want to blame the barbell because plenty of people have no problems whatsoever. However, a lot of people do have problems. Now, there are ways of trying to make this better. For example, historically, if people bench with a much wider elbow flare, sometimes that plays problems at the shoulder. Again, some people can get away with it. Those people aren't even asking this question in the first place. They're just cracking on and doing what they're doing. But if you're somebody with a shoulder problem and you're flaying with really flared elbows, maybe that's something to take a look at. Maybe tuck them a little bit more, and maybe then it goes away. If it still doesn't go away, maybe then you look at something that isn't as fixed, like a dumbbell press or a machine press, something that has a bit of a different alignment because something isn't going as well as you'd like it to be. Maybe there's actually nothing wrong with the exercise that you're choosing to use, and maybe you're fine with a barbell, but perhaps something that's going wrong here is just how you're controlling that weight, because a lot of people, I see it every day in the gym, they use their chest as a trampoline when they're trying to build muscle. Their goal isn't train a muscle, their goal is move as much weight from A to B as they possibly can with very little care for how it is controlled, and then wonder why at the bottom of the rep something hurts. And again, it's no surprise. Momentum means that at the bottom of a rep, if you're just throwing that weight down, it's heavier than it is on the bar. That's just how that works. Think about this, right? If you sit on the floor and I drop a 1 kilo bag of sugar on you from, I don't know, 6 foot, that's gonna hurt. If I drop a 1 kilo bag of sugar on you from a couple of inches, it's not gonna hurt, even though the weight is the same. The way that weight hits you is different based upon the distance traveled and the speed traveled, momentum. If you're throwing around 100 kilos, bouncing it off your chest, but you can barely lift that 100 kilos in the first place, now it's a recipe for disaster. Anyway, I think that'll do for the first one of these videos. Now, the editing in this probably wasn't great. We'll see. This is going to be a work in progress. I really want to give more into YouTube this year because I have real problems with TikTok just in general. It kind of is a bother as a creator on TikTok that every video you make has a shelf life of like 2 weeks, not even that, 2 days perhaps. I wish like my tens of thousands of videos were actually a video library that mattered. And on YouTube they are, and on TikTok they're not, so I need to spend time just basically eating shit for a while on YouTube, getting next to no views and just pissing money down the drain to try to grow it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully videos will only improve as time goes on. See you in a bit.